Hello and welcome fans and friends, my name is Gba Ben, and today we're going to have a look at the rest of my console collection, which is the handheld console collection. If you missed it yesterday, I did a home console collection video and I really urge you to check that out. Unfortunately the music got a bit loud towards the end, as I found out it was because I was having to watch the video several times over and over again even without the music, and I got kind of tired and I just uploaded the video anyway. That's not going to happen today, so let's switch to the angle where we're going to look at each of the handhelds. First up we have the original Game Boy, black and white, or green and dark green as I would refer to it, as those were the only real colours we had in this console. This one's a bit broken because I had taken it apart and put the screws in before I was supposed to put the backing on. So this thing is basically useless unless I could take the screws out. I do like the coloration where we have like these pinkish reddish colored buttons and the grey casing. It's very iconic, as well as the black D-pad. The pretty much useless select button, you know. Now everything was improved in the next console I'm going to show you, which of course is the Game Boy Color, which is a smaller console with more capabilities such as a color screen. And it can also play the original Game Boy as well. Overall this was a major improvement on the Game Boy original. And I think it has an earphone port somewhere. Let me just check. Yes, on the bottom we have an earphone port, and I think that was on the other one as well. But it's pretty cool and innovative at the time to be able to plug your headphones in. I don't have to bother anyone with all the noises that come from such games. I used to play Super Mario Land 1 and 2, as I mentioned before, as well as Godzilla. It was a very fun console to start off with. We have gotten better things since then, such as the Game Boy Advance SP, which is probably going to come up next. And here's the Gba Sp that I've had all these years. It's probably my favourite Game Boy of the series, if not the one that's coming up next. The good thing about this console is that it has a backlit screen, but my version does not have the even brighter version. But it's still a very nice little handheld. Of course I have the Mario edition here, which came with Mario vs Donkey Kong. And that was pretty much the first game I played on this thing as well, Sonic Advance and The Incredibles and other games like that at the time. Very portable little system, you can close it over like a clamshell, and that's what was really good about the little system. So it's worth a look if you like the Game Boy series. Try to find the brighter screen one, I forget the name of it. It's like AGS 101 or something like that. So this little system, I'm very proud of actually having it, because this thing is like super rare, at least in the UK. As far as I found, I've only really seen about 3 of these in the wild. And here we have like a third-party screen faceplate thing that they had for these, and it's a really nice little system. It's even more portable than the Gba Sp, but there's a little problem with it that I've discovered, and that's the earphone port. It has like a buzzing noise in the background. You can hear it. I'm pretty sure not just audiophiles can hear it, but anyone can hear it. But the little D-pad and B and A and the shoulder buttons do the job just well, and the screen is really crisp. But because I haven't had that much history with this little handheld, like there isn't much for me to really say about it. It has some disadvantages, such as not being able to play original Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, but you can play GBA games just fine. Any GBA game, by the way. And that includes like Yoshi Universal Gravitation, which has a weird sensor in it. And possibly those games that had like light sensors would probably work in this thing as well. I've already done a video on this little handheld. You can have a closer look at it if you go a couple of videos back. And we'll move on to another series of handhelds. So next up we have the new Nintendo 3DS XL, and also next up will be the new 3DS, of course. So they're both the same handheld but different sizes, and this is a really nice series of handheld consoles, starting with the original 3DS, which is probably the best looking one, but not like the best quality one. I guess you could say this one was the best quality one. Very good build, very big screens. Now, of course, the bigger the screens you have, the more blurry the image gets, but it still looks pretty fluent on even the biggest screens on the new 3DS XL. Instead of using a real stick, they have like a slider thing like this here. It's a good substitute, but I prefer real sticks over whatever you call those things again. And you also have like the extra second stick built in, which would have been on the original 3DS through the Circle Pad Pro grip that you can get for the other 3DSs. And this one also has extra buttons in the back, so we're only really utilized for new Nintendo 3DS titles and can't be used with anything else, unfortunately. But we're going to move on to the other version of the new 3DS. And so here's the more compact version of the new 3DS, which of course features SNES colored buttons. And it's kind of hard for me to kind of decide which one was better in the end, the XL or the original. I would say they're probably both equally as good, but if you really want the biggest screens, go for the XL, and also probably the best build is the XL. But I think even the original new 3DS has a really good build. And you may wonder why I have two 3DSs. It's because I have two different Nintendo Network IDs, and I don't want to get rid of one because loads of purchases were made, and I also had the 3DS Ambassador stuff on this one. It's a very, very nice little system. This is the one I got on launch day, and I got the XL much later on whenever it was on sale on PlayAsia, which ended up working out as much as a normal 3DS over here. This one is from here, but the XL came from Australia, I believe, and yeah, that didn't end up being a good day for me or my mum. We're going to move on to a different series of handhelds by a different company. Here we have the slim and sleek PSP Street, one of my most favourite handhelds of all time. It can play PS1 games and also PSP games, of course, and also can play movies. I haven't got any movies for this thing, but the build quality of this thing is amazing. This was, I think, the last iteration of the PSP line, and now we have the PS Vita, which is pretty much dead by now as well. But I do highly recommend this little handheld solely because you could play PS1 games in it. The ones that you bought on your PS3, you can play on this here. You can transfer the stuff if you have the right memory stick duo. We're going to move on to the PS Vita because I think that system is definitely worth talking about. So here we have my PS Vita, which I don't really think I've ever really mentioned on this channel before, but it's definitely by far probably my most favourite handheld console of all time, and it's probably going to get surpassed by the Switch in no time. But I love this little system. The graphics are amazing, the game library on it is amazing, it's also so cheap as well. That's what I like most about the PS Vita, is that the games in it are very cheap, and I've basically gone like 98% digital on this thing because the games are so cheap, and I've gotten the biggest memory card you could possibly get for a thing, and I have this pretty cool little grip. It works really well with the PS4 function where you can use this as a controller as well as like a thing you can play your PS4 on. I think that's really cool, but the grip itself is not that useful for most PS Vita games, but can be useful for PS1 games that you have on it. Unfortunately, it cannot play PS2 games, but it does have some remasters such as the Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, and Ratchet & Clank trilogies, which I don't own the Jak and Daxter one on this one here, but I own the other two, and I definitely recommend picking up a PS Vita. It's just an amazing little handheld, and this is the last proper handheld I'm going to show you, as the other ones are kind of like mini handhelds. So you may be wondering, what are these things? And these are known as mini classics. They are basically little Game Boyized Game Boy watches. Like, they have so basic games, like it's basically calculator technology, and that's what it is really. That's what it's based off, and these are really cool little keyring things. They're technically handhelds, and they're based off, again, Game & Watch, which was a very popular line of handhelds in Japan, and also I think they were briefly over here in the UK. But I had to pick these up because I kept on missing them every year that a shop called Lidl had them in stock, and I just decided to buy them one year. I had to keep an eye on when they came out because these don't stay around for too long. Now, if you actually buy a bunch of these, you could easily make money off them. You know, it's crazy like some of the money that these go for, and I got these for about £6 or so each. The next things I'm going to show you is basically just like little Nintendo pedometers, and that's going to be the last thing I'm going to show off. Actually, screw it, I'm going to put these in there. There's my iPhone, my iPod Touch, and we also have the Pokewalker and the Wii Fit U pedometer. You might be wondering, why do I count the iPhone and the iPod as consoles? It's because they are capable of playing games, and there are certain games you can only play on these systems. So I think it's kind of worth a mention that these are technically handheld consoles. And yeah, I mean, there is stuff like the Apple TV, which is a console in itself, but I guess you could say a lot of Apple devices are handheld consoles, and they're some of the nicest handheld consoles out there because they have such a big library of games, but a lot of it is shovelware. So we're going to just kind of show off the other side here. And the pedometer itself always comes with Wii Fit U usually. And the Pokewalker is quite expensive. This is only really used for Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, to my knowledge. And I think that's a shame because it'd be so much easier if we could like level up Pokemon from other games with using this thing. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you enjoyed this, unfortunately I don't really have that many other collections to really kind of talk about when it comes to games. I don't think there's anything really worthwhile. But don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, but only do that if you want to.